One thing I know for sure, if you want to have a good neighbor, you've got to be a good neighbor yourself. What does that look like? Let's get some specifics we all can use to make our neighborhoods more vibrant, relevant, and ready to face life crisis. So, I want to get you in here. Talk to me, because I just think you're in a unique situation that the kids came back home or they came back to the neighborhood. Tell us some of the things that's gone bad there.
Well, I think that the fact that I think the children need to be educated, and not just the book education. Okay. To be a good citizen, to be a good person, and obviously, they're taught by example. Okay. So if we present ourselves as people who care, because it's genuine. Okay. And as right now, we're putting together a tutoring program at the recreation center.
Yes, I like that.
And a mentoring program.
I like that. That's what I'm looking for.
And we're trying to do the two together right now. We're still looking for maybe some educators that can help us in the area. But we're putting together the program so that therefore the children can, especially now it's football season, so it's celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Peppermill Village football program, and so many kids, it's over 200 kids that participates in this.
So you have a football team in your neighborhood?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me about that really quickly.
Oh, a group of fathers, around 8 to 10 of them, really worked hard 40 years ago and got this organization together where it's well respected around. They played the Beltway League, so it's well respected around the whole area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And this is the 40th year, so in October will be the homecoming, and they're doing a big celebration.
Is that awesome?
It is
That's just another example of what we can do in our neighborhoods 40 years ago, and you guys are still keeping the legacy alive.
Exactly. It's an awesome thing.
You know, one other thing, when we have it's been a while, though, since we've had anyone to move into our neighborhood on Hill Road. When we have someone to move in, we had what was called the welcome wagon.
Yes, 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 yes.
And a group of us would go, my next door neighbor and I would go, when my next door neighbor was living, we would go and knock on the person's door and have a little basket of goodies that would welcome the neighbors.
Yes, yes.
And we talked to them about the neighborhood.
Yes,
we talked to them about the things that were available. We talked to them about the Peppermill Recreation Center and the wonderful things that are going on down there. That's awesome. We wanted them to know that they are welcome in the community. If they have any questions or concerns, they can always come to talk to us.
If there's a neighborhood not doing that, that is a possible thing that you could start to do.
Absolutely.
Right? The other thing I want to mention is because recently my husband had a health crisis, and my neighbors stopped by. They gave cards, they sent fruit, they checked, they prayed, they did some of everything. So often it doesn't mean that it takes 10 hours to do it. There's so much we can do. If there's just somebody praying for the neighborhood would be awesome, you know?
Exactly. And you know what else? I have a next door neighbor who lost his daughter. She passed at the age of 52. Very difficult and he's a widow. He is in the hospital. But since he's been in the hospital, the people in the neighborhood have come together to be sure that the lawn is mowed.
That's it. I'm loving that. Yeah.
And also that the house is taken care of.
I'm loving that.
We've encouraged his son to move in so that the house would not be empty.
Right.
We have assisted the son because he's single. We've helped him with food. And when the daughter died, the neighborhood went to Mr. Adams, went to his home to help him out, to provide the resources and supports and car. That's what a good neighborhood is all about.
That's what we're looking for, and that's what we want to see. We want us to rally together, get together as neighbors, and make a difference. We can do this ourselves, you know?
It doesn't cost money.
Absolutely, and you don't have to have a national campaign to do it. No. Let's just start on our street.
Let's do it. Exactly. Right.
Let's just do it. I love that. In fact, I had a young lady who sent me an email, and she was saying during the storm, her cell phone went out, she didn't have any gas in her car, the neighbor was outside, she just asked and he took her to get gas, he charged her phone, and although that was a little thing to somebody, that made all the difference. And she wanted him to know that she thought he was a good neighbor. And to him it wasn't much, but to her it was a lot. So I know we don't have a lot of time. We're supposed to be doing rapid fire, right? We're all excited. We're all excited about the. So the idea of the game is that I'm going to come up with the letters in neighborhood, and if we don't finish, it's fine. Our viewers can finish themselves. But I want you, if I say N, I want you to think of something that a neighborhood could do that starts with N. So, example, N would be a nice neighborhood for me. What would N represent for you in your neighborhood?
I have to be honest with you, and I know this might shock people, but there's nothing more important than a nosy neighbor.
Woo!
Because a nosy neighbor has its advantages.
Yes, nosy neighbor, huh?
Nosy. Sometimes it helps.
Okay.
And nosy can be a good thing.
Okay.
Because we have nosy neighbors in our community that have stopped burglars from breaking in.
You're absolutely right. I agree. The nosy neighbor, my mother has a neighbor sits in front of the window from like 7 to 6. And anything that goes on, they just make a note. And they're going to let you know who stopped by the house, what kind of tag they had, and all that.
Homeland Security.
I love that, the real Homeland Security. Okay, let's start with E. Who can think of E, the letter E?
I would say excellent, and that meaning, just be an excellent person and check on your neighbors and make sure that they are, as we said, fed. I take a baking class. When I come home from baking, I call it treat day, and I go and knock on their doors, and I tell them it's treat day, and I give them the things that I bake in class that day.
Because that's your gift.
Exactly.
And that's what Kate said early. She said, do your gift. You don't have to do anybody else. Do you. Okay, I. Yes.
Investment.
Investment. Talk to me about that.
People invest in stocks. They invest in their garden. But why not invest in each other?
Wow.
Where
So
we
how do I
always
do
get
that? How do I
dividends.
do that? How do I do that?
Give what you have that you love to give,
Okay.
and then be gracious in receiving other people's gifts and appreciate it.
And that's a good thing, because often we love to give, but we have difficulty receiving. That's good. Okay, let's move on real fast. G.
Giving.
Giving. That's
A good neighbor gives
I love
and gets
that.
a joy out of doing it.
I like that.
And my mother once said, if you close your hand, nothing goes in, nothing comes out. So it's important to understand the importance of giving.
I agree. I love give. I mean, we could stay right there.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that it has to cost a bunch. Again, if we can get anything, I want as a takeaway us to understand, give your gift. Give what you enjoy doing.
Absolutely.
And that way it is genuine, it's transparent, it's all of those wonderful things. You guys have just been awesome. I want to challenge all of us to look for ways to be our neighbor's keeper this year. Check on the elderly in your neighborhood this winter. Start a neighborhood watch program. Develop activities to keep kids out of trouble. We all can do our part. If you've got a good suggestion, tell us about it and email me at ms.deborahstearoom@gmail.com. See you next time in the tea room.